Hi everyone, and welcome to our Mastering Mobile Marketing video series. This is actually our third series of videos where we talk about all things app growth. We're going to take you through the best tips and insights and strategies in marketing with some help from all of the Yodelers from the Yodel Mobile team. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking to Yodel Mobile's paid UA specialist on how to decrease costs and increase results in your paid UA strategies. So Joe, thank you so much for joining today. Without further ado, I would love if you could just give yourself a little intro and talk a little bit about your role at Yodel Mobile.
Yeah, of course. I'm Joe D'Souza. I've been working in mobile UA for just under a decade now, across various agencies, running campaigns in multiple channels, verticals, and regions.
Nice, perfect. So Joe, I think you're underplaying how much experience you have in this field. I think I would love for you to maybe jump into, all the hundreds of campaigns you've managed to talk about what the fundamental building blocks would be for any business who's considering setting up paid UA campaigns as part of their app growth.
Yeah, sure. I think the key areas an app needs to consider include having a clear message about what they want to portray to their potential users. So that's ensuring your brand guidelines are clear, well laid out, and this is reflected well in your ad creative. You also need to set a defined KPI for your product. So whether that's a cost per acquisition or an intended ROI, this needs to be the main focus for your campaign and is your main goal. Try not to have multiple targets, because if you have too many plates spinning at once, it's very difficult to focus on what your main goal is and reach your target. So even if it means incremental increases every week, and just focusing on that particular goal, that's the way to go. And finally, I think just ensuring that everything's tracked. I mean, using an MMP is so vital and often overlooked by a lot of startups. It is an additional cost, but it's definitely worth the benefit that they provide. And especially now with iOS 14 going live, tracking's had major implications from it. So just understanding what they are and how that will impact your business.
I think that's really sound advice. And, sometimes I think it's quite easy when you're launching an app to overcomplicate things. And so having that one kind of North Star metric or one key goal that you're working towards, it sounds like that is the way to go for any business if they're thinking about paid UA.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So, I mean, a lot of the businesses who are looking to launch, they often ask us about how they can educate users on the purpose of their app and really establish their brand values and messaging. And I think, it's particularly difficult for businesses who have zero kind of brand awareness and presence. How can paid UA be a channel where they really build that brand awareness and generation?
Yeah, I mean, this is purely down to creative. And I guess one way that a lot of clients look to do this is by introducing a branding or an exposure campaign before they even start a paid UA campaign. So running this campaign, the logic is to essentially have a video explaining what your USPs are, what your key features are, and essentially set a foundation for your UA campaign. So having users already know what your brand is, when you run a paid UA campaign, it's a lot easier to get them to convert, especially when we retarget those users who have viewed your campaign. And even after this, having a learning phase, it really helps to have an understanding of what targeting works best, what creative works best, just kind of trying out different things. And you can learn so much about this, so much about your product through creative campaign management in particular.
Seems that creative is such a key lever for really optimizing campaigns and building that brand generation from day one. So I'm really happy that you mentioned that as one of the key things and key focuses. I think something else or part of the conversation that we recurrently have with a lot of our clients is the potential risks associated with paid UA. And I think sometimes this can be based on specific channels or how much budget they should be putting into certain campaigns, but especially for those apps that are looking to scale, how can they really reduce those risks and prevent overspending, because that's also quite an easy rabbit hole to fall into.
Yeah, I think a common occurrence is usually when businesses start seeing success at a smaller level. They want to scale immediately and they start throwing budget at their campaigns and expect to see the same results at a higher level. But unfortunately, that's just not how things work. I think scaling campaigns is more than just throwing budget at your campaigns, but it's about expanding your audiences, your channels, working at multiple various points to improve your results. Even Facebook, for example, they only recommend increasing or even decreasing your spend by 20% within 48 hours. So it allows their algorithms to understand, who can they reach within your specific spend levels. And obviously, the more you spend, the more users you're trying to get, and the more competitive it's going to get. So your costs and your CPM is obviously going to drive up at the same time. So it's about being able to manage all of these to get the right results for you. Instead of just purely increasing budget, I think using the additional budget to scale 20% every few days is a good start. And obviously allow these campaigns to grow consistently over time, invest in new audiences. Maybe there's audiences that you overlooked. You initially started with a few. Let's test out new stuff, test out new channels. If social works well for you, try another social platform. And this way, if something doesn't work, that means only a part of it stopped working. You still have your foundation of everything that's working. You can just cut off anything that stops or anything that's not driving the results that you want. And it allows you to scale more effectively instead of having to cut everything back down and start again from the beginning.
It's clear, Joe, that you have such experience across, multiple channels in the app and mobile space. So with that knowledge, what would you recommend the channels are that, a lot of kind of apps start with paid UA?
Yeah, I think this is obviously varied for whatever your app or your product is or what industry you're in. I think the most fundamental channels that most channels or most partners will be allowed to run with would be Facebook, Google, and Apple Search Ads. Sorry, those are the foundational partners. They have a wide reach, huge targeting options, and allow you to understand your audience really well. And not even that, they're very efficient, self-sufficient at getting yourself started and just running the campaigns right off the bat. I think the main thing there is, though, particularly with Facebook and Apple Search Ads, is knowing that there's a lot more nuances within the platform. There's a lot more settings and levers you can pull to push your campaigns, and you need to be a bit more advanced to understand how those work and how you can apply those to your campaigns as well.
I think, with that in mind, are there benefits then, outside of these fundamental channels of testing new channels?
Yeah, 100%. You should never, the old saying is never put all your eggs in one basket. I think although those are the foundational channels that you begin from there and then you build out from it, not everyone uses Facebook, Instagram, not everyone's on social media, and those users are potentially the ones that could be very valuable to you. You need to understand that, and finding new channels is a good way to reach those users, and it's key to growing your business.
Great. I think you've given us so many kind of nuggets of really valuable information. But, with this experience in paid UA, what are some of the secrets maybe they have to effectively increase results for any app business out there?
Yeah, speak to Yodel. I think that's the key secret.
Right answer.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I think there's no one secret. It's just being efficient across all your areas and having incremental changes. It may not seem like much at the time, but all these incremental changes across various areas, they do add up and they do make that bigger impact across your business over time. I think one key mistake I see a lot of people making is when they're measuring their creative, they use cost to measure their creative, which doesn't really necessarily give you the right answer of how well a creative's doing. Obviously, CPM varies across different targeting that you're running. And that means the CPI, or the cost per install, cost per registration, whatever creative is going to vary a lot. And ultimately, you want to look at how many people are clicking on your ad, how many are installing from your ad. And those are key metrics to keep an eye on when you're running these campaigns. It's not just the cost per install. And I guess even going further with creative, I think creative is such a key element of all your campaigns that you're running. Try not to just adjust the same creative that you're running on Facebook and run it on TikTok or run it on something else, because every platform has its unique way of reaching a user. And I think Facebook and TikTok in particular, TikTok ads, they need to be a lot more native. They need to, engage with the user, show them that you're part of the platform, you're part of the community, for those ads to work. And just running a standard ad on there just won't work. So whatever platform or audience you're running, be specific about your creative and how to reach them.
Thank you so much, Joe. I think this has been really kind of valuable and practical advice that I hope a lot of app businesses can take on board, especially if they're just starting their UA journey. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and to all those watching as well. If you have any questions on today's session, feel free to get in touch with the team. So I'll include a little link below that you can get into contact through. Additionally, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and a like, and leave a comment with anything in terms of questions or queries. And yeah, thanks again. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Cheers, guys. Bye.